Basically, this episode is about how women tend to villainize their ex-boyfriends or their exes to justify why they broke up with them, in my opinion. So I'm thinking about, wow, you knew how good of a boyfriend I was. You knew what I was trying to do. You knew what my intentions were with this woman. So if you to tell me that you know some bad stories about me, I'm just like, what bad stories? What are you talking about? I was as close to the best boyfriend I could possibly ever have been.
Whoever does the wrong, or whenever the relationship goes to shit, or whatever happens, and the word of mouth gets to the friends, even though the people involved have forgiven and moved on and whatever, the friends never do. And I don't understand how that even works when they weren't even involved.
There exists a subgroup, the nice guy. A dying breed of chivalrous, romantic, domesticated gentlemen whose qualities are desired by the opposite sex. Allegedly. However, they are dismissed and confined in such concepts as the bestie, work husband, and the dreaded friend zone. Joe, Jason, and Manny are the last of the nice guys.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm doing it this time. Um, Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As I softly caress my microphone and adjust my camera because I'm at the wrong level here. There we go. I wanted to let everybody know thank you for coming out. I am your friendly, hooded neighborhood half black man, Manny, and
Are you really
wanted
half?
to,
Are you really half black?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
and I wanted to welcome you to another very special episode of Not Getting Into Another 100, starring myself and wherever he is, Jason. Go ahead. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you, sir.
It's great to be here myself. It's great. It's lovely. I'm
Thank you
really
for
excited
coming.
to host it. Don't you eat on camera? What is wrong with you? That is not how we podcast. You're the one, I want to be very clear. You're the one who called me down to podcast. If you needed to eat, you should have ate. All right.
Yeah, I do what I want.
Clearly, clearly. Thanks for tuning in to another special non-100th episode of Last of the Nice Guys podcast. Today's topic, I don't really know what I want to call it. It's an addendum or a continuation of episode 33. Are you the villain of someone else's story? And is inspired by some random person liking an old post. When I say old post, I mean on Instagram it says 622 weeks ago. Shit if I know how long ago, but that's several years ago. And I looked at it and said, "Oh, what a fun memory." And I decided to read the comments and said, "Oh, what not a fun memory." When I read the exchange between me and an ex's old friend. So, we'll call this, you know, are you what can we call this? I mean, it's basically about how I would assume how women. Basically, this episode is about how women tend to villainize their ex-boyfriends or their exes to justify why they broke up with them. In my opinion,
Yeah,
that's
so we can just say something simple as women vilifying exes or something like
women
that.
vilified. So there we go. Today's topic is women vilifying exes, and I'm not saying men don't do this. What I am saying though is when men do this, they typically just say she was crazy and they move on.
I do it all the time.
Exactly.
Yep, all the time.
But in my opinion, women, like an onion, they peel layers and layers, and they compound it and compound. Especially if they're the ones that did the breaking up, to avoid taking responsibility for making that decision. Either be selfishly or for whatever reason, they will really do their best to villainize the ex. So let me give you some context, and then we're gonna get into this. So 644 weeks ago,
600.
right? Around the time that Manny was in the third quarter of his marriage, he a friend Excuse me. Wow. A friend of a friend text my friend, if that makes sense. So my friend's friends text him and sent him a screenshot of a picture of me um in like some kind of case for an advertisement. And it says, "So I just boarded my cruise ship and this is what I see. Ha ha ha." My friend busted out laughing. The picture in this post shows me wearing an outfit from just before being broken up with on a cruise. So they were boarding a cruise ship. So look, I want to make it very clear. This topic, this is an old relationship. It's super irrelevant. Um, but so there's no shade at who this person was and what's going on. And I mean this seriously. It's nothing about that. It's about the concept of what women do, not about her. But I'll give you context. Furthermore, just so you guys know, on these cruise ships, you need to read the fine print because even though you pay for these pictures and you take them home with you, they reserve the right to use these pictures for advertising material. So
Yep.
basically, what happened was that they used that picture of me, all smiles, wearing an outfit, on this particular cruise trip, and a few years later, they use it as an advertising or a welcoming as they're getting on on a cruise ship. That's what started this whole conversation, and I found it funny. I laughed, so I posted the screenshot and said that awkward moment when your homie forwards you a text from his friend who recognizes your pic displayed while onboarding a cruise ship. The
That's awesome.
significance, this, huh? Yeah. The significance of that pic is out of all five trips, and by the way, I took five cruises by the time this happened. The significance of this pic is that out of all trips I've taken, it's a photo from the infamous cruise, and of course, I'm wearing the exact outfit I was wearing when I got dumped 2 hours later. Some stories never die. Ha ha ha. Memories. Laugh my ass off. I was joking about it. I was just like you, because here's the thing. Not only did the universe choose that cruise out of all five cruises, but it chose that picture. We took multiple pictures on that cruise. So I was like, what are the chances, right? So I just thought it was funny. I honestly thought it was funny. It was no shade, and I'm reading to you exactly what I said. I was giving context and I was laughing about it, right? All good fun. And everybody in my comments were cracking up about it. I'll be real. I've got laugh my ass off. Oh my God, so funny. Um uh what was it? Wow, really? However, the I guess the best friend at the time or the close friend at the time of this ex, when I'll preface this, me and her were close too, really close. She's actually the one I turned to when the breakup happened to express my feelings. And I expressed my feelings a little too much that she was the one that literally told me, "Could you just be a man and stop and let it go?" And I said, "Wow." That actually kind of ended our friendship because I thought, okay, this is a safe space. I can, you know how I felt about her. She was like the girl. You know, everybody has. That's why I had asked you in the other podcast. You ever had any? Did you ever have
The girl that
uh,
got away.
a girl that got away? I'm not saying she got away. She didn't get away. She freaking left. But everybody has that one relationship for the most part where it's like, I thought this was it. This was gonna be the one. This is gonna be the end. This was that girl. You know what I'm saying? So when I say I was heartbroken like a little bitch, I was heartbroken like a little bitch. I mean, I was sulking out of my mind, and I sulked to her. But again, she's more of a uh, at the time she was more I guess in her masculine energy is what we would call it now, and basically told me, yo, you know, grow some balls, get over it. And I was like, wow. And I kind of what ended our friendship, in my opinion. I just stopped talking to her, not because I was mad, but because that's all I wanted to talk about. So there was nothing else for us to talk about. So anyway, she replies, okay, 650 weeks ago. Is that the pic before or after you called her a bitch and left her by herself on the cruise? Hashtag breaking up was the best decision she ever made. Now let me preface this. That is true. I did call her a bitch on the trip, but that was after she after I planned out a massively expensive, and I'm talking about I spent stacks, I spent thousands on this trip, massively elaborate cruise, pure romance, and she had just compared me to her shitty ex-husband and then told me that my life was that this is the reason why my life is shit. So yeah, when after you put all that effort in and I'm not defending myself, maybe calling her a bitch or not it was good or bad, but I'm telling you that when you get this venom from me, it's provoked and it's usually warranted. So after you tell me, after planning all this stuff and really working my ass off because I didn't do something you wanted to do, that I'm no better than your shitty ex-husband, and then you say that my life is shit because of this, I think it warrants calling you a bitch. I think,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Mind you, that's not the point. So so I just want to use a prefix. I did call her a bitch, but I was provoked. So I responded with wow. I was posting this as a coincidental joke. Plus, you know the full story. You don't do me like that. Like if you don't know, like if we were never close. You know, I was shocked. I was genuinely shocked. She came at me like this. She said, "I do know the full story, and many not so good ones on your end too." It was when I read this response here. That's what inspired this episode because she says she knows the full story, which means she knows she didn't, which means she did not dispute that. Clearly, it's more nuanced than I'm a shitty boyfriend. It's that she says she knows some more not so good stories about me, and I'm thinking about this. What are you talking about? In my opinion, I was the best boyfriend trying to be husband that I've ever been to any woman before or since. Nobody's ever gotten that level of romance, attentiveness, loyalty. Yes, I was tired sometimes. Yes, I didn't want to do something sometimes, but that's normal. I wasn't perfect. Nobody was perfect. But when I say that relationship, I was the best I ever have been and ever will be. No one's ever going to get that from me again because nobody's ever going to be that important to me ever again. Right? And so I'm thinking about, wow, you knew how good of a boyfriend I was. You knew what I was trying to do. You knew what my intentions were with this woman. So if you to tell me that you know some bad stories about me, I'm just like, what bad stories? I, what are you talking about? I was as close to the best boyfriend I could possibly ever have been. So that's what made me say, okay, what did she tell this girl who also was once my really close friend that for you to say this? So I replied with, again, I meant no malice by this post. I did not call your friend out, didn't mention her name or any of that. I am just focusing on the awkward humor of the text. I mean, I even made peace with her a couple of years ago, and I did make peace with her long before that. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but we all have dirt on our hands, and I believe that. Nobody's perfect. We all have dirt on our hands. And then I said, I remember a time when you used to share with me plenty of not so good ones. She used to tell me some really effed up stories, okay? But out of respect for our previous friendship, I would never try you like this. I said, for God's sake, you used to be my PIC, partner in crime. That's how close we were. I said, what did I ever do to deserve this from you? And
You
she
stopped
never
talking to me.
replied.
Duh.
And she never replied. So she never replied because she realized, in my opinion, that either A, shit, you're right, you do have some dirt on me, and I'm married, and I don't want that getting out, or two, damn, we really were that close. I don't know why I'm attacking him like this, and I don't know why she did. The girl didn't attack me, or the girl's family didn't attack me. Only this chick, and that hashtag breaking up with you was the best thing she ever did. Was like, what did I do? I called you a bitch one time. That's it. Now, maybe there are other stories where I think I'm fine and she, whatever. So, putting that all aside, and this is a topic I don't think I've ever addressed here, which doesn't really matter. Again, that's just the
If you're
context.
ever held hostage,
Thank you. So, if I ever, so after reading that thing, I thought a little bit. I was like, we were really close. Why would she try me like this? What was said after the breakup that you could turn not only your friend, because I lost all the friends in that breakup. None of them maintained my friendship. What could you have said, you know, that could have, because all I talked about was what actually happened. You know, that's it. You infer whether or not I'm right or she's right. I don't have to say she was a I never the only girl that I can say that I actually said was a terrible girlfriend was the girl that I
The dumpster bitch.
yes. That's the one, and she really was, in my opinion. But and even then, I still laid out the facts the way they were. You see what I'm trying to say?
Hmm.
So I am not in the
But see,
business.
that's the problem with friends. I was going to say women, but
Okay,
it's the problem with friends that and again, this is on both sides of the relationship or whatever.
right.
Whoever does the wrong or whenever the relationship goes to shit or whatever happens, and the word of mouth gets to the friends, even though the people involved have forgiven and moved on and whatever, the friends never do. And I don't understand how that even works when they weren't even involved.
It depends on the narrative that they were sold, though.
correct. That's what I
You know
mean.
what I'm saying?
Like that.
That's why they can
I
still
could
be
tell
mad.
you, oh, I broke up with my wife of 150 years because
Correct.
she pointed her finger at my forehead and I didn't like that.
Right.
And then you will forever know her as the.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
then when you
And so
see her, you're like that bitch.
correct. And then but because you have rationalized it or at least come to a conclusion that maybe it wasn't as bad as it was and you can forgive, the venom that you spit out to the people in your life, they retain that because that's the
Yep.
only context that they have. So then I ask, what did you say? You know, and why would you feel like you needed to do that? Well, now we bring it into real. This is typical of some or most women that if they're the ones that break up with a guy and the guy is anywhere between okay, halfway decent, or a good man, you then have to now manufacture
A
issues or make
completely
mountains
different
out of
story.
molehills to justify why you would leave a great guy. Again, I'm not referring this to me. I'm just saying, even though I was a pretty good boyfriend, but I'm just saying in general, I've noticed that this is what women do. They will then manufacture a narrative that justifies why they dumped this guy, why they left this guy, especially if he's well liked, well loved, well respected within those circles, which I was at the time. You know what I'm saying? So this is what this is the topic we're talking about is why do women feel the need to villainize their exes to justify why they broke up with them to begin with?
Pride.
Us. I I think it's shame.
It's well,
You
pride and
know,
shame go hand in hand, but
yeah,
definitely more prideful because you don't want to seem like you did anything wrong. Or I'm sorry, they don't want to
correct.
feel like they did anything wrong.
And we said
So
this, nobody wants to be seen as the bad guy. We mentioned this many,
right.
many times. Nobody wants to be seen as the bad
They
guy.
don't want to hold the accountability of the actions. I've had a few issues like that where I've broken up, past relationships or whatever, and it would get around that either I cheated, and I got caught cheating, and my question is always like, well, if I got caught cheating, why then would I end the relationship? That makes no sense. Just logically think about that. She
Uh-huh.
caught me in bed with somebody else, and I was like, you know what? Fuck you for entering my house and getting in my business. We're done. That doesn't
I,
make any sense.
but I could
I've
see
been
that.
called.
I could see that happening with some guys. I could see that. Maybe not you, but I could see a guy just doubling down, and saying, "Get the fuck out," okay, kind of a thing.
Now we're
Especially,
over.
yeah,
Let me finish this. My actions here, and then
right.
you and I are going to talk about how we're done.
But no,
Um,
for anybody that like knows you would would question it. You'd
of
hope
course,
they give you the benefit of the
it's
doubt.
been questioned, and I've also been called gay. That
Oh
the reason
wow,
why, yeah, that was the extent of how like the worst of it.
yeah,
Oh, he didn't want to be with me because he's gay,
yeah.
and I was just like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense too. I'm banging your friend,
Oh
and your mom. What? No, I didn't say
damn,
that.
what'd you say?
And your mom. Oh, what? No, but like I've been vilified as numerous amounts of things in in my past or whatever, and then it I don't want to say it's come up recent. No, it's never come up recently because the past is the past. It's over. But
Exactly. I mean, make it very
but
clear. The past is over, but it is
but
good for topics and to discuss.
right. And in times in the past after the relationships have ended and time has passed by, um I've been questioned like, oh, why did you cheat, or why did you do this, or why did the gay story come up, and
Yep,
I'm like, that's irrelevant for me to even answer at this
yep.
point. I don't even care. I'm like, if that's what you choose to
But
believe, then so be it.
but the story was powerful enough
That it stayed around.
that it resonated with these people and
Hmm.
it's set there, you know, so it makes you wonder what can be said about you or what has been said that resonates with people and makes you a villain in their stories or in their minds that when they look at you they're like, oh, and you don't even know and you have no idea what, you know, the fact that you have to do that. Why can't, and this goes back to women lacking accountability. If you just want to break up with a guy because you don't think it's working, because you don't want to be with him anymore, because
Just say that.
because you don't want to change for them, or you don't want to meet a ground, or they're not meeting your standards, despite what everybody else thinks. Own up to that and just let it go. But to have
Right.
to say, well, you know, he wasn't perfect. You know, he snored and maybe one time he didn't do what I want to do, or he took, or he, you know, he got aggressive, or any number of mundane things that you could blow up. And I make it very clear. I'm not saying men don't do this, but I'm saying that men don't care enough to formulate a narrative. Typically, what we say is she was crazy, and we move on. What happened to the chick? Oh man, girl was crazy. All right, man, that sucks. That
Yep.
I'm being real.
We
Men
don't
don't
we
have
don't ask for a
time.
million questions
We
after that
don't. We
unless
don't have
unless
time.
unless homie's trying to smash.
Correct. Correct. Well, how crazy was she? Like how I was with Joe's ex. I had to ask follow questions. Was she really that bad? Like, is it something that okay? You guys, I'm referencing. Would you date your homie's
Homie's
thing?
ex.
Homie's ex. I don't know what episode that was, but might
90
as well do.
something, I think.
Huh?
90 something, I think.
90 something? Joe was not around
Mm-mm.
that late. Was he? He wasn't.
No.
He wasn't.
He did like 3 episodes in the 90s, but that was it.
Right, but but that no, would you date? It was when he was still around because he was on the episode when we talked about it. No,
Oh
definitely
no,
not.
yeah, yeah, you're right. We
Yeah,
did we
he was
did
on the
do a
episode because that was what was so funny about
yeah,
him. But
I remember.
no, but to be real, we just unless you're really that close and you're that open, like Manny, Joe, and myself, we're very open. So we have the nuts and bolts of our many different past or failed relationships. We've discussed it like at length, but that's because we're cool like that, and it actually informs this podcast kind of a thing. But typically, our tertiary friends, they just know, okay, yeah, it ended. Yeah,
Listen, I don't know about you, but due to my marriage of 150, no, I'm sorry, 1500 years,
1,500
I haven't
years.
I haven't had balls in forever. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying. I'm keeping it real, okay? You go get that big dick energy, episode 24. I'm actually rolling.
Just roll
I'm
another
I'm just
episode
young
into
as
this one.
just scroll because I'm actually in our I'm in our folder right now, just scrolling through, looking up titles that I could just name drop to force you guys to go back and look at the things, because I'm a Gemini man, and zodiac signs are stupid. Episode 44.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, keeping it real. But yeah, so keeping it real, off rip. Uh, I
Off
love that.
rip.
I love that phrase now. I'm trying to incorporate it into my text and stuff. People, what are you talking about, bro? Off what? It's off
Off
rip.
rip.
Off
Off
rip.
rip. Don't ask questions. It's just know it's
Yeah,
off
yeah,
rip.
exactly, exactly. But I mean, besides that, again, I know you say that you believe it's pride, but again, I think it's lack of accountability and shame. I know, excuse me, I assume that's what it is. Let's be real. If you date, if a guy breaks up with an arguably amazing woman, right? Your homies are gonna question. Maybe not amaze me, but if she's slamming hot for guys, they're gonna ask come follow questions. Yeah, she was crazy, but she was hella fine. Like, what did you like? What did you do? Kind of a thing. Women will ask you the 21 questions. Oh my God, you guys broke up. Why? What happened? Can you just really say, well, I just wasn't feeling him anymore? No, you're probably gonna to make it better, to make yourself seem less whatever. You're going to concoct stories, or you're going to take real situations, you're going to embellish them, and you're going to make them sound worse than what they really were. So when it goes back to this text, when she says, "I heard some not so nice stories," plural, about you, I would run through my memories. What could you possibly have been told about me and that relationship where you could say stories that can justify you turning so drastically on me again, close friend, and then do it in such a public way on social media? I mean, let's be reasonable. You did it. Now you can say, "Oh, well, you posted the link," but again, I was doing it for the comic factor. You guys need to know about me in these situations, whether it's stress, hurt, heartbreak, pain. I tend to joke and laugh about them. That's my coping mechanism. I
Yep.
make fun of these things. I like to joke and laugh about them. And when this came through, did it hurt me a little bit to remember it? Maybe. I don't remember. But did I find the humor in it being that picture and how and whatever? Yes, and I thought it was fun and appropriate, being it my story, to post it, n- not expecting whatsoever that I was gonna get such hate and venom from somebody that I used to be that close with. Who knows this story? So when it comes to that, not only do you know the story from my perspective, you must have been told a different version, and then much worse, for it to even override our friendship, to do that to me in a public space on social media.
Check
Why
this
feel
out.
the need to do that?
Check this out.
Is there a correlation between how much they villainize their exes to how good the ex probably was? That's the question I think we discussed in our chat. We need a Discord with you guys. So when we talk about these things, you can read them and get into it. We should get a Discord. I just don't want to monitor it.
No,
Manny.
I already do too much, bro. I'm good.
Oh.
Check this out. So, dating a friend's ex, episode 52. Right.
Mm.
What you should have did is you should have left her on red, episode 53. Because you know what? We're not punks. Episode 54.
Well done. Well, no wonder he wasn't paying attention to my rambling. He was letting me talk. He was trying to set that up. Look at that. You guys should
No,
check those
I
early
was I
episodes.
was paying attention to what you were saying. I was just also
Right.
eyeballing this.
I got you something to eyeball. So eyeball this. What? So let's get back to it. What, do you believe there's a correlation between how badly a woman vilifies? And I'm not saying all women. I'm not saying all women. There's some objectively poor guys, but not all. But the vast majority of men are not chauvinistic, violent, cheaters. Let's be real. We only hear about those sects, but that's not it. But when they sit there and just like villainize the guy, is there a correlation between how deeply they villainize the guy after we're very clear, they initiate a breakup to how good the actual guy was?
In to my understanding, the correlation is that again, they don't want to seem like they did anything wrong. They don't
Hmm.
want to be in the wrong.
Hmm.
Um, and it's a for me, it's a pride thing because it's not pride on the situation, it's shame, which they're turning into pride so they can just continue being prideful, like there's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
couldn't be wrong because
Okay.
obviously, clearly, look at me. I mean, look how I am today. Clearly, that wasn't me 10, 15 years ago. So how could that happen? That doesn't make any sense. So I'm not wrong. He was wrong. He
Right.
did all sorts of stuff.
And
Oh,
and that's
I've also
why.
been called many, many names after breakups too.
Well, of course. So okay. So I'm sure you have examples that you don't have to share of it. But why do you believe you've been villainized after a breakup? I mean, have you? I don't know. I've been broken up with many times because I'm a shitty boyfriend. But have you ever been dumped? You ever been broken up with? Or have you been the dumper? No dead air, because Bancy doesn't like that.
I'm
Yes, Bancy, I heard. Okay, Manny let me know. I don't have the bandwidth or the time to get rid of the ums and the ahs and the dead air. I'm sorry, I just don't. I got too many projects going on. If you'd like to learn audio editing and edit for us, let me know. Email us, last of the nice guys at yeah. No, you know what? Dear Dr. Manny at yahoo.com. Yeah, let me plug Dr. Manny in there. Boom. I'm gonna call this.
Boom,
I'm gonna
another
call. I'm
one.
gonna call this shameless promotion episode. Forget that. But no, I mean, have you ever been the dumper
I've
or the dump? Oh,
you mean
sorry,
the
the dumpy,
dumpy?
the dumpy.
The dumpy?
You look a little dumpy right now, but that's just
Honestly, I probably have.
damn.
Um,
That's
I
how
think
you're.
in
That's how
I
irrelevant relations. That's how long he's been married. That he's like,
it's
hey, I'm
been
sure.
yeah
I'm sure it has
since
happened. I can't.
since the 1850s, man. You
That's
know they
right.
got to keep it strong.
Manny said, I cannot
Um,
confirm or deny that I've been dumped, but I'm probably sure it happened.
I know in high school and like the stupid little school
Oh, back when you were
relationships.
lame, yeah.
Yeah, I was never lame, sir. I've been broken up a couple of times. I remember one in high school in particular. And she's gonna know exactly who she is when I say this.
Fantastic.
That she broke up with me because it was told to her that I had something going on behind her back with a friend of hers
With a
because
man.
her friend liked me or some crazy nonsense. And
Everybody likes Manny. He's so
she
hot.
she broke up with me in regards to some things that was said to her or whatever.
Uh,
And nothing ever panned out with the friend anyway, so it was kind of dumb.
right.
And then my joke with her, whenever I talk to her, on the rare occasion that it happens, is I always tell her she broke my heart. Um,
See, I'd be different. I would say, "How's your friend? Have you spoken to her lately? Have you tell her to call me?" That's what I would have done. I would have made that an inside joke.
yeah, I mean, whatever. But as far as being dumped,
But I mean, did she to dump you? She focused on that. I would assume that's the narrative she told people of why you guys broke up, even though I would assume there was no like tangible evidence or tangible or anything she actually saw.
Uh, I'm not really sure what she told people, honestly. Um, because it literally we dated for like a day. Right. So it was
This
like I
story
said,
sucks.
it was a high school thing. It was dumb.
No, of course, yeah, relationships were superficial back then, but a day, Manny. I mean, you couldn't give me a better example. And then how did you manage to? You dated a day, you
I
broke up because
cried because of the time frame. You know, you're supposed to cry a certain amount of time, independent on how long the relationship was.
so you cried for a
So
day.
no, I didn't cry for it. I cried for like a minute. Like, duh.
Oh, okay.
It's a ratio here. What's wrong with you? Um, but again, this happened like 300 years ago.
No, of course,
Um,
350, but still,
who's counting, sir?
I'm counting because I think it's funny that you've been married for several centuries and you have to go all the way back to literal adolescence to give us a story to relate to.
Yeah, it sucks. But yeah, honestly, yeah, I can't think of any relationship that I've had
Right,
that someone's broken up with me.
right.
Um, because bitches out here is cray cray. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
shit.
Like I'm out here calling them cray cray
These
left and
hoes
right.
ain't loyal.
No, yeah,
Ah,
but for on all realness, I don't think I've ever been broken up with anybody because I'm just such an amazing person
you are an
and
amazing person. I mean,
and
unlike me, I'm
and
shit.
I'm a great lover and I like
You
long
are
walks on the
very
beach.
generous, very
And
generous
I'm very generous and
very generous
I'm
lover.
very girthy. And
Yes, yes, I can attest to that too.
whoa, sir, pause.
I'm saying we're
Pause.
close.
Did
We're
he did
close
he
like
just
that.
got
Okay.
sentenced, bro?
I
Calm
never said
down.
nothing
Did
about
he
no baby oil. I just said I can attest to your girthiness. Okay, I'm co-signing. Okay, I'm being a good wingman. Unappreciative.
Yeah, I can't remember if I've ever got broken up with. Yeah,
Must be
that's
nice.
that's crazy.
Must be nice.
Well, because the thing is, most of my relationships were long term,
Yeah,
and
most of
if
mine were short term.
and I wasn't a dater like that. I didn't go on dates
Right.
heavily. I never really did that.
Right.
And
So they always came to you, and you always left them. Got
yeah,
it.
because you know what? Listen, I exert like toxic, well, I
Well,
shouldn't say toxic,
not at the time. Yes.
positive toxicity because there's a difference. There's the negative
I
toxicity.
I
There's a
don't think
positive.
toxicity can be. I don't think there's a. I think toxicity is just inherently negative. If it's positive toxicity, then it's like nutritious. Then
Exactly. It was very nutritious. So I exerted pheromones, okay, that were toxic in nature,
you see what
but
happens.
healthy for your
See what
life.
happens when you regress your podcast to hold off the 100th episode. This is what
We
happens to your
we talk a lot of
podcast.
nonsense. But yeah, no, I can't think of any relationships that people broke or anybody broke up with me. I did. It was either like a I broke up or it was like a mutual understanding. Like, hey, we both want different things and it's not going anywhere, and we need to stop wasting each other's time.
Right.
Because I actually had several conversations like that. Like, hey, listen, I'm gonna be real with you. Uh, it's been feeling kind of different lately.
Right.
Um, what's his name? No,
Okay. I know you messing around on me. Okay. I know. I got the sixth sense. Okay.
I smell it. Tastes a little funny too.
Yeah. Ooh.
Um, yeah, and it was just long conversation. Yeah, because I'm sorry. Because I was a young father, I was always an adult about a lot of things
Yes.
because I
Yes.
didn't like
Yes.
my time being wasted. Because if my time is wasted, that's
Mhm.
time away from my child that I can't even get back. Forget what I
Right.
lose on my own, but I spent time with such and such away from my son
Yeah.
because he was the only one I had at the time. God rest his soul. I love him. Just playing.
I was gonna say, God rest his soul. Jesus Christ. God damn.
But yeah, it was I was never really a fan of wasting time, so
Yeah.
it was more like a conversation like, hey, listen, if this is gonna go somewhere, we need to understand
Yeah.
what the end game is and how we're gonna get there because if we're on two different sides of the highway, it
Right.
makes no sense to continue this.
And to go into dovetail that, that's why the joke about me being a serial dater, that's why that exists. Because I was a young father. I was a father to be 19, 20. By 21, I had two kids, and this made this very clear. I couldn't date casually. It just wasn't in the cards anymore. I had to date with purpose. And because I was dating with purpose, I was coming with many different like ideas of what an ideal woman would be for me and for my situation. Whether it be women of substance or women that are only single mothers or only women that appreciate this particular thing. I had many different like ideas of what I should be dating. So that's the reason why, you know, things weren't so long term because if it wasn't, and yeah, most, a few of them, about half, I would say half half broke with me or I ended it, but it just that's the reason why nothing really clicked because I knew I had to look at you and be like, okay, well, we're fun, you're fun, but are you responsible? When we get closer and you have to meet my kids, are they gonna like you? If they're not, and then that's why I went through a lot of dry spells not dating at all because the idea of meeting a woman, she's gotta like you, I gotta like her. We got to interact
Mhm.
well. We got to communicate well. Okay, that's great. Now, do my kids like you? Do you like my kids? Are you interested in being around for my kids? No? Okay, rinse and repeat. Going through that whole stepping stone thing, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I wasn't that one of those guys that even though I had kids, I just seriously date anybody and say, who cares? I had my children, much like Manny did, and we had to date responsibly and and we didn't want to bring somebody into our kids' lives that would, be negative, detrimental, or cause situations. Unlike, maybe our exes, who knows? You had to be responsible. And so the ability to say, "Oh, I have 20 million exes because oh, I just dated to have fun." Actually, the only time I got to date to have fun was the last 3 years before I stopped dating, because by then my kids were, you know, high teens. We're talking about like 17, 18, 19. They didn't give a crap. So I didn't mind bringing women around. It wasn't. It was. Don't get twisted. It wasn't many, but bringing women around. I think they met three of them in that 3 year time span of women that I was dating, and met them as in like, oh, here, look, that's somebody I'm dating. Moving on, or they
Yeah.
happened to be home when I was entertaining a guest. I didn't. I was less about hiding it and putting it around like when they weren't around because by that time they were living with me full time anyway. And I was like, well, if I'm going to date, they're going to see them. I'm going to say, hi guys, introduce you to her. Let's see how long she lasts and call it a day. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So I only got to do the real serial dating and dating for fun or dating casually. I'm talking about 37, 38, 39. Maybe not. 3 years ago, 41, 38, 35, 35, 36, 37. That's when I was dating casually before I stopped dating full turkey. It's just tired. I was done.
Yeah, I could probably go into the serial dating when since my marriage has been gone for so many centuries,
Correct.
God himself has to,
Ordain
be the
so.
yeah, he has to
Yeah.
ordain it and he's the judge. So I guess once that gets approved, biblically, I might be able to start serial dating, but I don't know if you if you
You
noticed
wouldn't
that
you wouldn't
the
be interested in
rapture
that.
the rapture happened
It did. It did.
a
That's
couple
why
weeks ago,
that's why it
so
left us with a bunch of shittier women. Like we've got the bottom of the barrel. Let me stop. Let me stop. What does that say about us? We are the shittier bottom of the barrel man too.
I
So
think we're here as the saviors.
I think we are. We're the leftovers. But I mean, I think the only thing that resonates well with us is that I can say both Joe, who's never around, myself, and Manny is that our kids' mothers definitely villainized us. I would say that definitely to her, their people, to their friends, especially when with any people that overlaps, because they're gonna look at Manny, hardworking man, loves his kids. Kids love him, but you guys didn't make it work out. So it, she would have to work extra hard to villainize you, so she doesn't look like the shittier person. Much like I can guarantee that's probably what would happen to. And I'm making semantics. I don't know this for a fact. Um, Much like what would have probably happened with Joe with his ex, and I definitely know with mine when it came to their mom, because when you have the more people that you have mutual connections with, especially if their family's following you, when they see you being you and they're like, wow, this is a good guy, this is a good father, and you didn't make it work or it didn't work out, like what is it maybe you? So then you have to work extra hard to then villainize the guy more. It's funny because as my kids grow up, they're getting more context about me and their mom in the past. Like, and we're talking about a long time ago. We're talking 15, 16 years ago. But that informs their reality as it is. And when I hear them bring up, okay, uh, the negative stories that their mom or their mom's mom brings up to kind of counteract the Jason is so great of a dad narrative sometimes. The examples that they have to bring up is literally over a decade old. Like they have nothing really new to use. They have to use decade old stuff. When they bring it up, if it's factual, I say, yeah, that happened. I'll tell you why it happened, but it did happen. So I'm just like sitting here like, wow, like you really have to go scrape the bottom of the barrel to try and villainize me as opposed to taking accountability for, and I made it, and my boys know I've taken much accountability for their early life and how things worked out and how I did not take to being a father the first year or so very well. And that informed my behavior with her and whatever. But basically that she villainized me to her people, you know, and it took years for them to say, that's not the guy that we're seeing here. That's not the, wait a minute, he's kind of cool. Even I think at least one or two mutual friends that she knew much longer prefer me over her in their actions. And I only noticed because of their interactions with my sons and their interests like, wow, he's so whatever. Again, I'm not saying I'm perfect, I'm not even close compared to her
I
and
am.
stuff.
God
You,
damn it.
yes, you are. But you know what I'm
God
saying?
damn it.
It's like you spend that time villainizing somebody instead of taking accountability. It's lack of accountability. You know what? It's lack of accountability. That's what it is.
I've had an ex. Um, we were think we were visiting friend's house for a party or whatever it was, and the friend asked me, you know, what's up with you? What's up with you and my homegirl? How come you guys aren't trying to work it out? You seem so, because at that point in time, even though we were not together, we were copacetic, I guess you can say.
Mhm.
And we joke around, whatever, act like we were two different people not in a relationship that can actually enjoy each other's
Right.
presence.
Because
And
you're more mature than me.
and her friend was like, how come you're not trying to make it work out? Because I'm seeing you now, and I see like obviously some of the things that I heard aren't accurate because you're very funny. You're very you're such a people person,
Mhm.
and you seem to be like well endowed. No,
You seem to be very girthy and look.
see see those pants are loose, but
You seem to have an imprint. So like, what's going on? You're not
but
tight.
she asked me, she's like, how come things didn't work out, or how come you're not trying to work things out now, or whatever. And I'm just like, you know, everybody has a point in their lives where in any relationship, friendships, family members, because they count too, where things just don't work, and the
Yep.
only way to make it stop not working is to walk away from it,
Correct.
because if you keep beating around the bush hoping things will get better, things majorly just get worse. So, I told her, I was like,
Yeah, it
it
can.
didn't,
It can.
it didn't work out.
Mhm.
So, here we are. And that's just basically what it is. And then I joked with her and I was like, wow, you got some friends that
No,
you
I
hook
do. I
up?
used to do that all the time. I used to say, "What? That's your who?" I said, "Here's my number. Hook me up." That used to be my thing all the time. I did it just recently. My old coworker slash friend sent me a picture of her and all her new like medical assistants or maybe her nursing class, but one of them had a mask on, and I said, "The one with the mask, give her my number, okay? Hook me up." I said something about her eyes underneath those masks that just screams, get to know me, and I said she started laughing. So. I still do that mess. But it's funny. Have you ever been you like you said you've been approached? I actually was apologized. The same girl in reference, I had gone to her. I was invited to and invite not a party, but I was encouraged to come to her by her family was encouraged to come, or her mom, I think, encouraged me to come to their grandmother's funeral or wake, right? And I came with my boys. And as I was walking in, well, another mutual friend, the daughter and the mother, sees me outside, stops me outside, and says, "Hi, how are you?" I said, "Hi," and they said, "Listen, you look great," because I had lost a lot of weight too at the time, not as much as now, but before. And they said, "Listen, I want to apologize for how we treated you after everything." That's what they said. They literally did this right outside the church, and But back then, um, I don't know if I still do now. I think I'm in a better place now. But back then, I held grudges. I hold grudges. I mean, that's it. I mean, I won't lie. The only grudge I hold right now is against my kid's mom. Huge grudge. She made my life a living hell, right? But I held grudges. You crossed me because in my opinion, like I said, if you want to cross me, you had to try. You had to want it. So you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it as if for a while. So I didn't take their I wasn't what's the word I want to use? Not genuine. I don't know. I didn't curse them out. Don't get me wrong. That's not the nor the place. I kind of just said, "Oh, okay," and I just walked in. And that was about it. Never spoke to them again after that. But they did. They actually did apologize to me about how they treated me after everything, and everything was the breakup and all things like that kind of a thing. And I found it to be interesting because you know we didn't really. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, they dismissed me, but they didn't really like do anything like that friend did on social media. So when you have to apologize to somebody, what did you say about him?
Hmm.
About him out of his presence that you felt like the need to apologize. It could have just been, oh, we're here, it's a funeral, we're all sad, and you want to, say it, but they didn't have to at all. But it's because after time goes by, you realize that that guy didn't actually do anything to me. Let's say I was an awful boyfriend, hands down. But I was a great friend, a great companion, great whatever, whatever. But because of your association with this individual, it colors your entire thing about me. After a while, as time goes by, it goes away, and you realize that was a good friend. I lost a good friend. I lost a good person in my life, and I was a genuinely good, no, a genuinely nice person. I think I'm a good person now. I was a genuinely nice and good person. I would have given you anything, kind of a thing. For example, with that same girlfriend. This is the kind of guy. This is the kind of guy I was. Okay, she I think I drove and we were just talking. She had mentioned that how she needs to change the brakes in her car, but she doesn't have the money for it. She wasn't asking me for the money. She was talking about just general things, budgeting and whatever. And she said, "Well, you know what? I'm gonna ask my kid's dad, because she had two boys or whatever. I'm gonna ask my kid's dad for the money." And I immediately said, "Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'll pay for the brakes." She's like, "No, it's not your concern. I don't want you to do that." I said, "There's under no circumstances am I gonna let my girlfriend reach out to her ex for money to pay for her brakes.
Yeah, no.
That's not gonna happen." And mind you, I'm not a machismo guy. I'm not puffing on my chest, but there's certain things that I just don't. I hard stops. I would never let you do that. And I paid for the brakes. I did. I gave her the money for the brakes. Not because of some macho thing, but I'm your boyfriend and I'm dating you with intent. And this is me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's no need to go back to the
There's
ex
no
for
need.
something
There's
like
no
that.
need. You know what I'm saying? Even if I could have got figured out, that's the kind of man that I was. And it's funny because juxtaposition to the story I told you, where a few years later, the girl I was dating says, "So here are some bills I need you to pay." And I said, "Are you serious?" It's not hypocritical, ladies and gentlemen. In one circumstance, I heard the plight and I voluntarily said, "It's all, I'll take it." In the other example, she says, "There are a bunch of bills I need you to pay to help me out with," as a declarative statement, as if we had that kind of relationship. We had that kind of agreement. We
That
never did.
triggers me.
Correct. So I want to make it very clear. Two different situations. One, I volunteered because X, Y, and Z, and love of my life. The other one, slamming hot girl, nice girl, but had a weird thing about the dynamics of men and women. That if you're dating me, then you should be financially responsible for me, kind of a thing. And I was like, that has to be earned. And that was a tipping point when I started changing a lot, because the nice Jason would have just been like, "Oh, okay, well, what are we talking about? Let me see what I figured out." The Jason that was in transition was kind of like, I didn't say I won't help, but don't you think it's a little too soon? Don't you think this needs to be earned, and kind of a thing. And then that ended everything. I ended that one. But
Had it been me, I wouldn't be like, you ain't earned that shit yet.
but
Just,
and that's but
just
that but
off
that, but
rip,
that's but that's how I am.
off
But
rip.
but that's how I am now. Is that if you're gonna get uh not even the best of me. If you're gonna get the good of me, you have to earn it. And I've said it many times. I tell my sons now, it's like, if you're gonna do something nice for a lady friend, somebody that you care about in that level, I need you to ask yourself, what have they done to deserve this? What have they done to earn this? It can't be more than just I want to because I want to. That leads to heartbreak. It leads to being used. It leads to feeling stupid at the end, or what we used to say back in the day, crunchy, feeling crunchy. You don't like feeling like that, feeling dumb at the end when it inevitably doesn't work out, and you're like, man, I did all this stuff and for what? Now I got to start all over again.
Yeah,
It's a waste of time. It is.
yeah.
I don't.
It's definitely not a good feeling because it's just who the hell wants to feel that way?
Correct.
I just gave a portion of my life, my
Mhm.
finances, my time to
Yes.
somebody who didn't even deserve it. So
Yeah. In retrospect, in hindsight, they didn't deserve it. And you know what I'm saying? Or or could that be our way of villainizing the women by saying they didn't deserve it? Maybe they did deserve
listen,
it. You know.
it's like the great Chris Brown says, these hoes ain't loyal. Okay? That's just how it is. You don't like it? I don't kill kick rocks. If you can't make daddy a sandwich without impeding rent money, then
Did you know? Did you see the memes? I've been seeing it lately. Like that the tide has turned on the whole Chris Brown Rihanna thing, where now not tide has turned in general, but now there are memes like when she got beaten up, what did she do to deserve it? I
I
don't, I don't, I don't mean to laugh.
listen.
I
I
saw one of
don't
these
I
memes.
don't I don't condone domestic
Of
violence
course not. Of course
of
not.
any point.
Of course not.
However,
But now you're asking
when
for
I
context.
right when I hear something like that, what did they do?
Yeah, what did they do? Like what did you do? Or yeah, what did you say? Kind of a thing.
Somebody from my past, I told them, I said, listen, you got to be careful with that mouth of yours because you're gonna get into the wrong man's face,
Yes.
and something's gonna happen.
Yes.
She didn't believe me. It
Ooh.
happened, and she called me, but the first thing out of her mouth was he hit me. So so my immediately reaction was, "What'd you do?
What'd you do? What did you say?
What'd you do? What'd you say?" And of course, it didn't react very well after that. What do you
Of
mean?
course
It
not.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He hit me. I'm like, I mean,
It
is
it,
it
it
does it
kind of
correlate with
does.
something that I said prior?
It
Like,
kind of does.
did
It kind
you?
of.
It was this one of those Dave Chappelle skits where like it's at this moment she realized she
She fucked
fucked up.
up.
It's crazy, man. Like people, and that's just with everything in life. You don't
Yes.
hear both sides of the story, so you hear the one immediate side that sounds so compelling and crazy. You're like, oh my god, like I can't believe
Usually the
this is
woman's
real.
side.
Yeah, and I can't believe this actually happened. And then flash forward some years later, intricate stories come in, and you're like, whoa, now
It's no
something
every
doesn't
story
add
has
up.
nuance. Yes, there's his side, her side, and the truth. But there is, if you hear both sides, you can find the truth. There's inconsistency. You can be like, okay, I can see, and I can see where you provoked him, but he was kind of messed up for doing that. There is a way. Not everybody. And again, I make it very clear. I try and tell my stories as factual as possible. I don't care about you sympathizing with me. I don't care about you taking my side because all I care about is that I feel like I'm in the right for the most part. And if I feel like I'm in the right, that's enough for me. And I'm going to tell it factually because I have nothing to hide. I don't. I honestly don't. There's nothing that needs to be hidden. I am not ashamed of my history or my past at all. I'm not saying I'm not wrong or I haven't been wrong. You better believe I have been wrong. Oh boy, have I been wrong. But I understand the rationale behind my behavior and my actions, and I can, if not defend it, I can reason it. I'm not to defend it, but I can reason. I did this because of this. I know
Right.
the guy that I was. That's why I did this and said this. But more often than not, if you have a negative story about me, you provoked that shit. You really did. I don't wake up one day saying I want to trash somebody, I want to curse somebody out. That's not the guy I am. It
I
never has
do.
been the guy that I am. You know, it's marginally not the guy that Manny is, and it's definitely the guy Joe is. So I'm gonna throw shade at Joe because he doesn't come on these podcasts. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't come. So you know what? Actually, pause. So, uh, but I don't know. So final thoughts. We can wrap this up. I think we've gotten deep down into it. I agree. I again say that the reason why women vilify their exes is shame and lack of accountability, especially when they're the ones. And I'm only referring to those that are the dumpers, or they dump and drop their men for whatever reason, kind of a thing. Like here's a good example. My friend told me that her daughter broke up with her high school boyfriend, be, and I was like, "Well, what happened?" And she's like, "Well, he wasn't ambitious. He didn't seem like he really wanted to go anywhere or do anything, and that's really not my vibe. We're moving into college, and I want more." And I thought that was very respectful.
Right.
That's fine because that's still putting the onus on him for why she broke up with him. But it
Hmm.
wasn't any demonizing. It wasn't he's cheap. He didn't take me out. He didn't give me enough attention. It was real. Yeah, I mean, she's kind of super mature for her age to be saying stuff like that. She's in high school, but I respected that. Even though I did say it's not that serious. You're in high school. Maybe you wanna roll it back a little bit. But
Right.
but still, I respected that. And to why can't we what's the phrase I want to use? Make that normalize that. Normalize that. Be
Yeah.
real. If you want to break up with a guy because you don't think, you're just done, or you're attracted to somebody else, or you're not attracted anymore, that's it. Just be about it, kind of
I
a thing.
mean, listen, my baby daddy left me because I couldn't have any kids, and I respected that too. Like,
That's right.
what was I gonna do about that?
Hell yeah.
Like
Hell yeah.
he wanted children, and I couldn't give it to him.
Yeah.
So, I can't get mad at that.
Exactly. That's it. There's nothing wrong
Uh,
with that.
It's
Final thoughts?
2025.
Final thoughts
Um,
about women villainizing their exes to save face?
it goes like I said earlier, it goes hand in hand with the shame, like you said, for futuristic pride because going forward, we've seen and heard and spoke about the value of women in the dating pool
Mhm.
the older they get. So as they
He's
get
referring
older,
to SMV, sexual market value.
yes, as they get older, it's more of what they can do and say and back up rather than how they look because looks fade, looks get ruined, looks change.
Hmm.
So at this point, it's like, and of course, men, we don't really care half the time about what you look like. So it's like, all right, what can you do for me? Are you going to feed me lies and tell me all the stuff that you didn't do in the
Tell me
past was actually
lies, tell
happened?
me sweet little lies. Tell me more.
And that's usually
I don't know
that's
why
usually what.
I don't know why I started singing on these podcasts. I have no idea. I'm going through
Yeah,
something.
I know what it is. You're trying to go on the next America's. I almost said America's Top Model. America's
I
Got
am
Talent.
very handsome now in my 40s. Thank you very much. Just
But
gotta tighten up all this jiggle that's right here.
everybody likes a little jiggle every now and then.
No, 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 no. And this ain't Jello.
But that's pretty much what it is. So they're trying to solidify stories to make them look better,
Mm,
mentally, just in and relationship wise. Since again, looks
more appealing.
fade, and yeah, they're trying to just change the their history so that they can look better. And it's a sad state of affair. That's why dating fucking sucks. And I'm gonna
Mm, mm.
continue saying that as we talk about dating. Um, and
Sorry.
and actually, when if I ever do start dating, which I probably ever,
I'll be real with you. I can't wait because I would love to backload every episode after the 100th about your dating fails or your dating or their dating fails because let's be real, man, he's not gonna fail. The ladies are gonna fail him. Man, what I would give, I would pay for all your dates if you would get on those dating apps, get on Tinder, get on Bumble, get on Hinge, and start going on dates. I would give you the budget for your dates just so, but you would have to tell the stories on this podcast. I am dying, dying. 'Cause I only know this man. Wait, were you married when we were friends, or you
yes,
were kind of on your way out?
a little bit of both.
I
Yeah,
think, yeah, I think it was, yeah. I think you were on. I probably met you just as you were on your way out. So I never actually experienced um real husband Manny, more like embittered husband Manny, or I'm doing this because I'm doing this husband Manny. But most of my time friendship with Manny has been post divorce or post the portrait of a divorce from a man's point of view.
episode 26.
Episode 26, bam.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's really the Manny that I grew up with. What am I talking about? That's that's exactly what popped in my head. The Manny that I grew up with. I'm like, what am I talking about? Um, but yes, but yeah. But yes, but what I like to experience is single. I mean, you're single, but you're not single. Single. Oh, single and ready to mingle.
Yeah,
I would
I'm
like
not. I'm not
I
ready to
would
mingle.
like to experience single ready to mingle, Manny, and get it on this podcast. I'm telling you, it would be so funny and
You-
it would just brighten my day.
just because of the person that I am,
One date a month.
every date would be awkward. Like I would just
Yeah,
have random conversations, and I'd be
yeah.
like, "Hey," I'd ask random questions, and I'm sure someone would be like, "Would you ever cheat on me?" No, I would never do that. Swear to me, just
Swear
random,
me.
just random
Are you a
stupid stuff.
cheater or I
Yeah,
don't know.
like and I think
I would love to
going
see
back
the
to what I
I,
was
I
saying
would love to see the
earlier,
life just exit your eyes as you go on date after date after date, month after month, realizing how
probably never would
mundane,
happen.
monotonous.
That just sounds too exhausting.
I know. I would,
But I
but I
know
would pay for it.
I would
I
have
would
a
even be your
set
personal Uber.
I would have a set of questions, and one of them would be, in your last relationship, were you the breakup or breakup E? And what is the reason that the relationship ended?
You do know that most articles state that you shouldn't talk about your exes on the first date.
No, I'm saying I'm
Most
not.
dating.
When it organically gets there,
Oh, okay.
that would be the question that I would ask. I'm not saying
Okay.
right off rip as soon as the fucking waiter comes out, I'd be like, hold on, sir, hold on. What happened to your last relationship?
Yeah,
And
we need a
that
few more minutes. I got to
determines,
hear this
yeah,
story. We need
that
a few more minutes.
determines what you're getting on this menu. Just letting you know.
That determines if you get anything on this menu. That's right. And these days now, women either expect you to Uber them or they drive themselves. They don't let you don't pick them up anymore. So it's not even like you be having them
Yeah, because
stranded
you
if
get
they
stuck
left.
with them.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to pick nobody up. I'll meet you there. I don't care how you get there, but I'll meet you there.
I used to like that idea because in that you got the awkwardness out of the drive. You weren't awkward at the dinner or the movie or whatever it was or the event. That's why I appreciated picking up women on the dates because yes, it was hi, how are you? It was weird, but by the time you got to anywhere you're going is going to be at least 30 minutes away if you're worth your salt. And in that 30 minutes, all that awkwardness, you have to get through it. And you'll already know by, by the end of that ride whether this is going to be a fun date or it's going to be a crappy date or you know what I'm saying? And for me, all my dates were fun. Let's get it real. Because it's me. I like to have fun and I made them fun, much like I'm sure Manny would as well. But that's what the whole drive and then the drive home was like the final thoughts. And that's usually where you would be like, so, I had a great time and I'd love to see you again, kind of a thing.
Well, the other thing is too, like when I used to go out on dates and dinner dates and stuff like that.
But that was in the 18th century, dude. Like chivalry is
Right.
dead.
So back then there were different things to adhere to, and
Correct.
most of the times that I went out with somebody who was more or less a friend at that point. It wasn't a perfect stranger.
Right, because you chose to befriend them first before you took them out. And that
Correct.
I don't know how that worked for you, man. That whole that's how you get stuck in the friend zone. You must have been hella charismatic or hella handsome to be
I
able to meet
am
to be able to
a,
maintain a sexual interest in you
I
while
am
maintaining
a
a friendship.
I am God's gift
But I'll
to
be real with
nobody.
you. But I'll be real with you. The story I just told, she was a friend first. It organically became that. We both had we both had PICs or besties of the opposite sex. She had one, I had one, and they both caught feelings and it just ruined everything. So we were both actually, when we met, I was actually trying to get with her friend, believe it or not. When we met, we were both looking for that platonic opposite sex friend that we could do fun stuff with. And we did. We connected immediately and we went on these different things and the feelings came organically. It's one of the few times where a friendship actually led into a relationship. But when you became the relationship, a light switch pops on and things change. So things that you used to do as friends isn't gonna fly when you're in a relationship. So how did you navigate that then?
I always went with the ideal of going with people that like you rather than the ones that you like.
Uh-huh.
And
Right, but they're your
I tell you,
friends.
I didn't like anybody because
Right.
I hate people. I'm
Yes, you're
miserable.
right. You're right.
Um, but I don't know. It was just it just worked. I don't know why or how, or I
Right.
can't really explain why it did. It worked because we already build a foundation. Um,
Oh,
you know,
friendship. Okay, here's an example.
yeah.
Same girl. We were in a group chat, right? And we all used to like flirt and say sexual stuff to each other. It was kind of a joke. It was like 3 or 4 girls and like 2 or 3 guys, and we just always joked around. And one of the things was like I would I don't know. So here's an example. The same girl who called me out on social media. She said something or whatever it was, and my response, this is after me and the girl are dating. I said, insert name here. I would wax that ass until Sunday, kind of a thing, right?
It's a long
And
week.
and the girl is the girl I'm dating is in that group chat, but we were always doing this, all of us. And it's an oversight on my part. Maybe I should have considered it. She told me, "Hey, that was very inappropriate. I can't believe you did that." And I said, "What? What do you mean? We always do this. Like, I didn't know that the rules changed now with the dynamic. This is what we did in this group chat, so I didn't know that I can't do that anymore." And I guess it makes sense, but she was married, the girl I'm saying this to, and she's fine with it. And it was like relationship or not.
Not everybody could take a joke
No, but
in a way.
right, but we did take it. What changed was that now that we were outed and we were in a relationship, now that became inappropriate. Even though I was talking to your friend that was married, and this is so harmless, but now all of a sudden it's inappropriate. And I'm not saying she's wrong, but what I'm saying is that's what happens with friendships. When certain behavior, for example, even a great example, I have this Dragon Ball Z shirt, and when we were friends, I wore it. She never said a thing when we hung out with the kids and stuff. When we were dating and we were going to the park with all the kids, I wore it, and she got into the car and said, "Are you really wearing that shirt?" And I said, "Yeah, why not?" And she didn't want me wearing that shirt. She didn't like the shirt. As Jason the boyfriend, Jason the friend, wear what the fuck you want, but Jason the boyfriend, that Dragon Ball Z shirt is juvenile, and this is not what she said to me. I'm assuming that's what it was. That shirt was juvenile. It was inappropriate or too cartoony, But we're going to a park now, with a bunch of with her 2 kids and my 2 kids. But that's what I'm talking about. Is that you're saying what you did was you dated only those that you got to know as friends first. How did you navigate
When the transition happened,
when the switch flipped, and now what was okay with wearing or talking or being as a friend isn't okay in the relationship?
it just worked, honestly. I never ran
Really?
into any issues where it was like, oh, you can
Well,
do this as
I
friend
really
Manny, but not as boyfriend
I
Manny.
really am a shitty boyfriend then. Shit. Damn. You know what? You know what? That friend that did that, you're absolutely right. I was a shitty boyfriend. That is the best thing she ever did. I'm just, no, but I'm sure I'm not the only person. I'm no shade, really. But now I think about it, I don't think she liked me anything about me as a boyfriend. As a friend, it was fine. And it's funny you said that where sometimes you need to some of the things just don't work. You need to be able to do that. Because her mom did say that. Her mom did reach out after the breakup and said, listen, sometimes it's just better to be friends. But I
Yep.
was so in love that I said, but I don't want to be friends. I can't be friends. There's no way I could be friends. And I agree to that. I know for a fact I would have never been able to do it. To go back into that group chat and talking about dating and who I slept with and who you didn't sleep with and who's your, no, it would have never worked out. I would have gotten embittered. It had to just be a clean break and then just, create a studio and talk shit about women after that kind of a thing. So, but no, no. Mm, that's good. That's interesting that your dating is very different. That's why
It
we
is.
that's why we need you in the modern day, dating modern women with modern technology, with modern sensibilities and modern expectations to see how you would handle it. I need it. Three. Ooh, a 3 date rule. You got to go on 3 days with 3 different women before you can stop
And
dating again.
that's probably never gonna happen.
It has to happen. It has
it's
to happen.
it's probably never gonna happen.
Okay.
Just let you know right now, it's
Why
probably
is that?
never.
Why is that? Why won't you get back out there? You're a good guy.
Because I
Even
just
dare I
don't.
say, still a nice guy. Why won't you? I know why I won't.
Because I just don't care. It's not on my priority list.
Okay.
It's not honestly an interest of mine.
Yeah.
I just it's because of my history or whatever. It just I'm the idea of getting back on the the the
The
the
horse.
highway and the nonsense of it
Yeah.
all over again. I don't have it
But
in me.
not all women are the same.
It's not even about like whether or not I trust women or anything like that. It's just I don't see myself it's very, you know how you get tired of doing something over and over again? That's dating. That's
I
exactly what it
know.
is. Starting fresh is just
But here's
the
the thing
idea,
though.
like when you wake up, like all right,
But
think of it
how
this
can you
way.
be tired of dating when you
The
spent most of your life married? That's what I'm saying.
That's exactly why.
Oh,
I spent most
I'm
of my
tired of
life
dating because of dating.
I've spent most of my life in a relationship that the idea of me opening up another one is
Hmm.
like, no.
Exactly. Okay.
It's
Okay.
exhausting because I have, again, to be told
Okay.
what to do
Okay.
in my
So how
house,
about
how to
just
have
dating?
my house.
Okay, but then how about just dating for fun and dating casually? No expectations, not looking for anything long term, just getting out there to get out there. You're traumatized from the long term commitment. I respect that. I'm traumatized from literally the serial dating. That's why I'm done dating. But you're traumatized from a long-term commitment. So if you get back out there with no expectations, no long-term commitment in mind, maybe you're open to it, maybe you're not, for fun, casually, that's different. How about that? Rewire your mind.
No,
Why?
no, because that sounds very expensive.
I told you I'll pay for at least three of them.
And it'll be wasteful. It all is gonna you're paying for a story. That's basically what you're going what you would pay for.
That's what I do.
I
Okay.
can create stories for free.
You can't, but they're not gonna be real. I want real stories. I want to see
It
I want
doesn't
to see
need
the
to be real.
real.
That's why they're stories.
No, and that's also I want it to be based on a true story. Okay, I want it to be based on a true story. I want portrait of a first date, Manny edition. I want portrait of an ex or a breakup, Manny edition. I want these stories. I need these
That's
stories.
it's probably never gonna it'll okay. If it does happen, I'll
Uh,
probably be well into my 50s.
that's God help us if we're still podcasting in our 50s. I don't want to be doing this in 9 years. At least not this way. In this way, if this brand has gone somewhere else, maybe, kind of sure. I'll TED talk the crap out of it, but don't. No, I'm not doing this in my 50s. I can't believe
No.
I'm doing this in my 40s.
So there you go. It's probably never gonna happen. I'm probably gonna just because the plans that I have going on and everything working out the way that I want it to
Mhm.
does not include another person in it.
Doesn't have
Not
to.
at all.
Doesn't have to include. That's what I'm saying. That's
No,
you're
because
no,
it
you're thinking
that's what
about long.
dating is.
No, it doesn't have to
Yeah,
be.
because I have to insert such and such person into the planning of my
No,
day-to-day
no,
routine,
into your
and I have
day.
no interest
Okay,
in it.
maybe your day-to-day routine, but not into your long-term plans. And it could just be.
It affects
Uh,
my long-term plans. I don't
it
want to
won't.
waste my time on somebody that's
You
not
don't
going
waste
to
your
be
time.
there.
You're taking. All right. Everybody has disposable time. There's time that you play video
I
games.
do not.
Yes, you do. You're podcasting, bro. Well, no, okay.
This isn't wasted time, sir, or
No, disposable time means it's time
disposable
that
time.
is not allocated to a job, to school, to something that you need for your it's your free time. I call it disposable time because not all free time is disposable. Okay? I call it disposable time. Time that you can just say, you know what, I'll do whatever I want. You just allocate that disposable time to dating. That's it.
The very little bit of disposable time that I have, I
Uh-huh.
used for this.
Well, I mean, we can take a hiatus. We've taken hiatuses.
This guy, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Jay, it's not going to
Well, I
happen. Just
can't
let
believe
it go.
I can't believe I spent the last quarter of this trying to get Manny.
Convince me to go out and no, it's not
Yeah,
going to happen.
I
Sorry.
would like to say very clear. You guys let me know. I did a good job. I tried. Okay, I want to give I give my best effort. I really did try here, guys. So
Best foot forward.
give me some allocates, give me some props because I did try. Okay, off rip. All right, well, I guess that's about it. We can wrap it up. There's no more final thoughts. We're good to go. So thank you for tuning into the Last of the Nice Guys special. We're still working on our 100th episode. We will get it there. We do need Joe. I refuse to do it without Joe. I refuse to do it without Joe in person. So we're working on it.
So
Eh,
why don't we just go
What do we want?
instead of waiting and doing all these like special episodes, we'll skip 100 and just go 101, 102,
I, I was I
103, and then go back to 100 whenever
I
he
was
shows up.
thinking about that, but then it'd be going
It's
back to
gonna be like 150 before he even shows up for the
correct.
100.
So it's like why? We might as well just skip the 100th period and then go straight to wait for 200. But we'll see. We'll definitely see, or make it the 150th. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm definitely. I have a vision in my mind, and technically, by not calling these specials 100th is just they're really there's nothing special about them. They're regular episodes. They're just not. I'm just not adding a number to it. I'm thinking about it. The idea originally was that these specials were supposed to be like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. These specials will last 40 minutes to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's not special. That's a regular episode. I know, guys. I know. It's semantics. I know that for a fact. But I have an idea, and I want this to be my 100 episode. And if we didn't do this, we would have done nothing. I actually had told Manny, let's focus exclusively on Dr. Manny episodes. That will work while we wait for the 100th. He has not complied one bit yet. All he needs to do is get his stupid shirt and his stupid stethoscope and his stupid what is it, bow tie, and just record. He can do it. He can do it in the freaking car if he wanted to, but he doesn't comply. To make it very clear. Anyway, thank you for tuning into Last of the Nice Guys podcast. Or this wasn't us. I don't know. Thank you for your time.
The Last of the Nice Guys. Follow, like, and subscribe on Twitter and Instagram at Last Nice Guys, Facebook.com/Last Nice Guys, or email lastoftheniceguys@yahoo.com.